Hey, what's up? This is Joe. I'm in McAllen, Texas, right next to the Mexico border. And I wanted to make this video to share with you the trip that I took from southern Mississippi all the way to South Texas. Basically, after meeting SaddleTramp and getting my fuel pump replaced, I headed west across the Louisiana bayou. Almost as soon as I left, I got pounded with more storm clouds, which kind of gave me a good excuse to hang out in southern Louisiana and eat some delicious, authentic Cajun cuisine. There's a tip in this video if you're ever in southern Louisiana and you want to eat well, but you're on a budget. So after the skies cleared up, I headed down to Alvin, Texas, just south of Houston, where I met my buddy Scooter Tramp Scotty, who was just coming up from spending all winter in Mexico at my friend Bryan's place, who is the consummate Harley-Davidson knucklehead enthusiast. Really anything mechanical, anything Harley, but especially knuckleheads. The guy's just absolutely in his element and loves to talk about him. So after hanging out and picking up the last of my mail, I headed south to Victoria, where I had a spot along a river, and then ultimately headed south to McAllen, where I was fighting brutal winds the entire way, as per usual in South Texas. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as always, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box if you'd like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road. I'd been back in the States for over 2 months, which is about the point at which I start really wanting to return to Mexico. I can't explain why I love the place, but it's somewhere I'll always keep going back as long as I'm able. It's not that I don't love the US. In fact, if I stay south of the border for too long, I start to get really hungry for my own culture. But at this point, I just about had my fill of American politics. Scooter Tramp Scotty was just coming up from Mexico, so I figured I'd meet him somewhere along the way and see my friend Bryan in Alvin, Texas. I said goodbye to Kim and SaddleTramp and headed west along the coast to Mandeville, Louisiana. It was there on the north side of Lake Pontchartrain, just outside of New Orleans, where I decided to hole up and wait out yet another storm, as well as get a taste of some delicious Cajun cooking. A little bit about the culture of Louisiana. The food out this way is something really special. A hybrid of Spanish, French, and soul flavors, all combined into a delicious melting pot and served up hot. You don't have to go to a fancy restaurant to eat well. You only have to go as far as the local grocery store. I left my spot in the woods and headed for Rouse's Market. So I'm in Mandeville, Louisiana, heading into Rouse's Market, which is the grocery chain. I like coming here because in the deli, you can pick up all kinds of boiled shrimp and stuff that's boiled with the shrimp and the crawfish and everything else. These people love to eat, and yeah, that's one reason why I like it down here. I'm sitting here waiting out the rain. Just got these, what they call guaneca sausage, boiled with the shrimp and crawfish and likely everything. $5 for these absolutely jumbo shrimp. It's about the best deal on shrimp I've ever seen. They're some of the best shrimp I've ever had. The amount of fat that's contained within the head. The proper way to do these is crack the head off, suck the head like that. You get all the fat inside of the head. These are just packed with flavor. Absolute shrimp butter. After a few days of soaking up the delicious Cajun flavors and a little bit of rain, I pressed on towards Texas. Following a long stretch on the bayou, I pulled up at Bryan's place in Alvin, where Scotty was already there working on his bike and eager to explain the inner workings of a transmission.
See the gears? They're all on two shafts. See this shaft? This piece goes in here. To gut it, you just take these bolts out. You take the clutch off because the clutch goes on here. Pull it out. There's one big fucking gear that goes on here, and it's the one that goes to the pulley. So the power comes in through here, goes through this, comes back, and then goes over to the pulley, which goes over this. Am I making any sense here? This one's on spline, see it? Okay, but a lot of them are not.
So when you shift gears, you move those dogs.
It's moving the dogs.
And you move it into a different sequence of
right
gears.
See, because you can only have two gears hooked in at the same time. See these little pieces here? It just pushes on them and shifts them, and it moves this barrel. But I'm giving you an idea of how simple they are. I don't understand exactly. When I take them apart, I have to lay the gears in a row, so I put them back on in the right order. But all you do is you take the clutch off, which you learn how to do because that ain't hard, and you're gonna end up in your primary. And then you pull the guts out this side, and then you fix whatever's wrong with it, and you slide it back in. So that's all it's gonna do.
So you're just coming out of Mexico. How's it feel to be back in the States?
There's a lot of things about Mexico I like these days, you know. They have freedom, like even more than we had when I was young, at least in the smaller towns.
Yeah. Does it seem like people are happier down there?
You know, I think you might be right. You know what's interesting is I think that people were born to be free, not safe. And I think it's in our nature more to be free. We were never safe. Our whole history does not show safety. That's propaganda. I'm watching three boys down there on a little motorcycle. One of them's got a boogie board under either arm, you know. The one in the middle, he's holding the boogie board under either arm, and they're buzzing through and around town, and the hair flying and shit. And they were like teenagers. I just remember what that was like. Nobody gives a shit if you don't have a license, or if you're a kid.
Right.
Their focus is on hanging with each other. You notice that no matter where you go, there's parties going on. Take the long way?
Take the long way, why not?
Long way? All right, come on. See, now if we were in Mexico, we could just go. Still good. I've been doing it a lot here. When I don't see a cop, I do it anyway.
Right.
I'm a bad lawbreaker, I guess. That's the problem. This thing here don't want it, it's too big.
There's the other ones in there.
Where?
Top drawer.
Let's see what we got.
Scotty kept messing around with his VOES switch while Bryan explained some of the finer points of the Knucklehead motor.
How's that work? Does that work all right?
It works great if you get it sealed up. If it starts leaking, you start losing vacuum, and then it starts pooling in the heads, which causes the heads to leak worse.
Oh, wow.
I heard that Knuckles had a problem with getting them sealed on the top.
I've built two of them now that have no leaks, and the guys are riding the piss out of them.
How'd you do it?
I took
See up here, look at these little tin caps they got.
they screw into these. So you have to physically put these on as you're putting the guides down in it, because the guides hold these cups down. See, here's your valve guide right there. Well, it's pushing and holding this cup down. So if you forget to put this in, you get to pull that back out. See, you'll never get that in there.
Right.
Right?
That's like a puzzle.
Dude, it's fucking really cool puzzle. It really is a cool
crazy.
puzzle.
But just little parts like that are getting hard to find, right?
Oh, you can't imagine. You have no idea how hard it is to find this shit.
Some of this stuff you probably fabricate yourself, right?
Well, you can, a little bit of it. I mean, you know, some of it just is like so weird.
How did you get that to stop leaking?
Well, now, you don't want to give up my trade secrets. I got a little secret how I do it. I'll tell you when the camera's off.
See, the Knucklehead is the first overhead cam engine Harley built.
Well, not really. They actually
Well, they
had
had
an
that
overhead
4-valve racer. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I seen it in books like
They were
antique.
toying with the idea in 1926, I think.
Well, this came right after the flathead.
The trouble with it was they didn't have the metallurgy yet. So it would fucking break
So,
valves and drop the
yeah,
valve
all
in that
these
motor and
gears.
blow it all up.
So how many pieces in one of these?
I think it's, somebody said at the time it was 667. Yeah, I've never counted it. It's like way too past my number I can count.
Right.
See how that's machined?
Yeah.
That's a real knucklehead nuts.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Let
They
me
made
see
that.
it. Let me see it. What's a knucklehead nut? I thought that's what you were.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But see how that's machined?
What's different about it?
Look at it. See that washer like made into it? That's how they machined them.
Wow.
They
Genuine.
yeah, it's genuine parts when you find that.
He's a knucklehead nut.
Well, you got to be if you're going to do it. There's an early Harley bolt,
Oh, wow.
real early, like teens. That could be from the teens
All right,
also.
Bryan, what'd you do with my pipe, man?
Man, I really haven't seen it. I don't know what you do with it. But I found your socks.
Oh, you did find
Oh, there's your
Yeah.
pipe.
Them are your
Found the
socks.
socks.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. You found my pipe.
Ha!
Why are you throwing shit on top of it?
It's got to be hard to find one of these that hadn't been fucked with, right?
Right. This one here's basically one that got fucked with by a guy that didn't really fuck with it. He blew it apart, painted it. I got it in 2007, I think it was, or 8. Man, it was a journey to get it back to here.
Wow.
These are original handlebars, and they were bent. I had to fix that side. I just finally found these sliders. See how that works?
Is that spark advance on that side?
That's the spark advance on this
It's
side.
got
Yeah.
manual spark advance.
Yep. So when you twist it this way, you're advancing it. And see, it sucked it all the way there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what it did was the timer sticks in the hole down there.
Mhm.
It rotated all the way forwards that way. Yeah, and then like the throttle doesn't fucking spring back. You have to physically fucking return it.
Uh-huh.
You know, there ain't no fucking
Yeah,
return spring
right,
and shit
right,
like
right.
that. You fucking open the throttle, you close the throttle. Yeah, here's your shock absorber. Yeah, this is a pogo stick, they call it. Actually bolts down at the bottom. Slides down into this fucking groove, this key in it down there in the bottom of the frame. And so if you fucking want to adjust it, you take the fucking seat loose, lift the seat up, and spin this tighter, and it'll lock onto this nut here and tighten these springs up or loosen them.
Does it have oil in it? Usually?
There's
No?
oil, just grease.
Yeah?
Grease.
No dampener.
No dampener. I mean, it,
Guys tell me those work pretty
oh, they
good.
fucking work great.
Really?
Fuck yeah, you'd ride forever on one of these.
Old Scotty was heading east the next day, so I headed down the road with him a little bit before splitting ways. Fuck. God.
People have asked me when I'm going to come up to another bike. I'm like, I'm already at the top.
You like that old Evo?
Well, yeah, they're easy to work on. I was just talking with a friend of mine with a twin cam. Red called me up. He's had to do a bunch of things to it, but he's got an early twin cam.
We're just sitting here hanging out. He's taking off for Florida today. I'm just out riding around, getting some fresh air, sending him off, I guess. I split ways with Scotty and headed back to Bryan's place. FXR looks good.
Yeah, man, I've been riding a little bit.
Have you?
Yeah, I got an oil leak on it. I got to tear it apart and fix that too yet. So. Always something. Never get a break.
Does that handle pretty good with those Fox shocks?
Oh, dude. Putting that thing back up in the air, putting them kind of shocks on it, made all the difference.
I hung out at Bryan's for the next few days, where I changed my final drive fluid and picked up the last of my mail before heading to the border. Later on, brother. For the next leg of my journey to the border, I headed south to Victoria. Here in Victoria, I worked on my video and listened closely to the sound of my idling motor. It sounded off. I was just about on my last leg fixing stuff on this bike. Nothing to do but read as much as I could and ride on. I was fighting some really heavy winds on this ride. Not since Wyoming had I fought this hard to keep my bike on the road. I pretended to look at my phone while the cars passed so I could head into my stealth camping spot undetected. Scotty and I had been kicked out of this spot a few years back, and this time I wasn't leaving anything to chance. Finally, after an over 1,400-mile journey fraught with breakdowns, thunderstorms, and a tree branch falling through my tent, I had made it to McAllen. Just a little ways south, the Mexico border awaited.